The construct state in Hebrew is where we have two or more words, and those words will be nouns. Okay? It's two or more nouns connected in a genitive relationship. Genitive relationship, if we have the man's brother, that possessive man's shows a genitive relationship. We could say the same thing, the brother of the man. In English, of is the marker of the genitive relationship. Okay? A class of students. The of marks a genitive relationship. It forms one compound idea. In other words, we don't separate it out and emphasize different aspects of it. We put them together. It forms one compound idea, and as such is actually pronounced as one word in the Hebrew normally. Noun number one is in the construct, or what we call pre-genitive, because it stands before the genitive, because noun number two is called the genitive, or is called the absolute. So we have the construct noun as the first noun. It's called construct because it takes a construct ending, or it's called pre-genitive because it precedes the of something, and then the second noun is the of something, so it's called the genitive. It's called absolute because its form has not changed. It's still standing in the same form as it would have when you look it up in a lexicon, whereas the construct noun has changed form. It has a construct. It has been constructed, it has been changed, it has been inflected. All right? So we take a look at these. Divrei ha'am is the words of the people. The words of the people. How did we get that? First of all, divrei is the construct noun. Its form has been changed. Devarim is words, plural, in the absolute form, uninflected by this change. Okay, devarim. Notice the mem sophit on devarim has disappeared. Notice that the hirik yod has become a tsere yod. The masculine plural construct form always has the tsere yod. Tsere yod. Words of. Horses of would be susei. Okay? B'nai Yisrael. The A that you hear, B'nai, is children of, sons of Israel. Okay? B'nai Yisrael. So that sereyod is your key for the masculine plural, is the easiest construct to recognize because the sereyod. Sereyod is not a normal ending of any noun or verb construction in the Hebrew. The only place it ever comes in any quantity at all, I'd say over 99% of the time, the sereyod is going to indicate a masculine plural construct. So you will always expect a noun to follow it, and it'll be in a genitive relationship, as here. The words of the people. Notice I translated the words of the people. The construct noun, that first noun, can never ever take the article. Okay? In the Hebrew, it cannot take an article. But because it is tied so closely to the following noun, if the following noun is definite, then the construct noun is considered definite and is translated as such. So you would not translate this words of the people. It is the words of the people, because the people has article, ha'am. So therefore that article is then applied to the construct noun at the beginning as well. The words of the people. And then we look at another example. Devar. Notice what you're used to seeing, davar, word. When it's in the construct, it's inflected and changes. Why? Because it is pronounced as though it were one word together with the following word. And in this case, that line up there between the two words, what we call the makef. Makef is M-A-Q-Q-E-F. EPH, the makef, is the marker that tells us that the words it connects are to be pronounced as though they were only one word. So think about it a minute. If we have davar makef Yahweh, that tells us then that we have some vowels, some syllables that are at least third or fourth syllable or vowel back from the accented syllable. So they have to be shortened. And that's exactly what happens. The comets under the daleth becomes a schwa. The comets under the beth becomes a pathak. The comets under the beth is the third vowel back in Yahweh, because Yahweh originally, you remember we're ignoring the schwa and the comets here, because that's only a Masoretic notation to tell the reader to say the word Adonai instead of saying Yahweh. But Yahweh is a word that would have a comets and it would have a segol under it. This is the way it would look, Yahweh, and therefore we have two syllables, we have two vowels. So anything back from that would be a third syllable or third vowel, like the comets under the beth in davar, so it has to be shortened. And the one before it is the fourth back, it has to be shortened. So both are shortened. The first one to a schwa, the second one to a pathak. So you understand why then these vowels have changed. And it's because in the construct relationship, the two words become one concept joined together, so it's Yahweh's word, or the word of Yahweh. And so you have the construct noun. Devar has changed its form. It has been constructed. That's why it's called construct. It's been constructed. It is not the original absolute form of the word as found in the lexicon. It is constructed. It has been built. It has been changed. It has been altered. And then you have the genitive, which is the of part. The of doesn't belong with devar. The of belongs with what follows. The of is like a preposition. And so a preposition goes with what follows it. Okay? And so the genitive is the second word. And this is Genesis 15:1, the word of Yahweh, or Yahweh's word. Yahweh's word. Devar Yahweh. Devar Yahweh. Taking John's point there on pronunciation. Okay? Now, as we look at these, then we have these forms. If we look at the masculine and the feminine, davar as the word that we use for the masculine, and we'll take Torah, the word for law, for instruction, in the feminine. So we have devar is the construct for the masculine singular. Notice how the vowels have changed. Remember, the vowels change because it's pronounced together with the following noun as though they were one word. Therefore, you have a change in the vowels. Torat is what is done in the feminine. Notice the ah becomes ath. The ah becomes at in the feminine singular. Devarim in the absolute plural, in the masculine. Torot in the absolute feminine. Notice that in the masculine, the construct becomes divrei, that's seriod, and in the feminine, it remains just as it was in the absolute form. There's no way to shorten oath or to change it. So it's going to stay that way. The oath is an unchangeable ending. It's an unchangeable ending. So that means then that context and context alone will tell you whether or not Torot is absolute or if it is construct. Because even though it's called construct, it has not been constructed, or if you want to call it deconstructed. Nothing's been done to it. It's not been altered. It's an unalterable form. So context will tell this, and context alone.